Welcome to Small Business Celebration. We're continuing our series on small business sustainability. And our guest this week, well, she's going to help us get the breakthrough our businesses needs through better health and better nutrition. This is Small Business Celebration. Welcome, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs. Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week is Jennifer Woodward, the owner of Jennifer Woodward Nutrition, and that is a mouthful, but welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Michael.
And for visionaries who don't know who are you, and what is it that you do?
So I am Jennifer Woodward. I am the owner of Jennifer Woodward Nutrition, and I help perimenopausal women make the transition from not knowing what to do with their hormones and their mood, their sleep, their libido, and their digestion to feeling really, really good through the confusing time of perimenopause.
Now, one of the reasons we're talking with Jennifer today is because nutrition is very important. Trying to organize your life, trying to put together your busy schedule is not the easiest thing in the world. And you're married, and how many kids do you have?
Yeah, I've been married for almost 21 years to my high school sweetheart, and we have 4 children.
4 children,
Yes.
And all of them are athletes.
They are all athletes, yes. You've met all of them today.
And what is their age range?
My oldest son, Jackson, is 17, and
Right.
then my youngest son, Chase, is 11. So we have a daughter who's 16 and a son who is 13 as well.
Where we are, Visionaires, is not in some stuffy office. Where are we?
We are in my kitchen. We're in my stuffy kitchen. It's hot today, but this is my favorite place to be, so I'm happy we're here.
Why is this one of your happy places to be?
I love cooking. I love preparing recipes. I love feeding my people. I love entertaining. This is just the place where all of the love and joy happens in this house, so it is a special place for me.
I have to ask, I could never do nutrition. I just don't have the detailitis to make that happen, but you didn't set out to do this.
I did not. No, actually, I was in a very different career to begin with. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. So I like to shock people and tell them I sold drugs for a living. I did, but it was perfectly legal.
Right.
And so that was my profession for many years.
Right.
And now I am on this side of things, the alternative healthcare side of things, and I could not be happier.
And what was the push? What was the motivator? Because most business owners start a business to solve a problem. You're no different.
That is very true. So I made that transition from the workforce to being at home, had my 4 kids, like you said, back to back to back to back within a span of 6 years.
Right.
And now I realize that puts a lot of stress on a woman's body. So there were things happening in the health of my family. There were things happening in my own health that really, precipitated a career change for me after that time of being at home.
What was that one thing that pushed it to happen?
My 3rd son, Roman, just had this terrible weeping eczema. I mean, we would look at him and his whole arm would be bleeding after he took a bath or played in the hose or went in the pool. And we thought, my goodness, is our kid allergic to water? Like, that's a terrible thought as a parent. And so we went from doctor to doctor to doctor, and we're trying to figure out what's wrong with this poor 2-year-old. And it was finally after my girlfriend had her father, who was a chiropractor, run a targeted lab test on Roman that we found he's very sensitive to casein, which is a milk protein, and also chlorine. So, we live in California. He's in the pool every day.
He's a 2-year-old.
He's drinking so much milk, Michael. I was just giving him bottle after bottle after bottle. And
you're a good mother. Little did she know.
I just didn't know. And so once we were able to pick out that data and think, we're not guessing anymore, we actually have test results to realize what's wrong with this kid. We pulled out, milk from his diet. We got a whole house water filter, converted our pool to salt water, and his skin cleared up like that. It was amazing. And so my husband, being, a data freak, was really encouraged by us having, answers in black and white right in front of us. So that was one of the, part of the journey for me and for our family. And then after having my 4th child, Chase, my hormones just fell apart. I wasn't sleeping. I was having panic attacks because I wasn't sleeping. My anxiety was at an all-time high. I couldn't lose weight. My hair was falling out. My digestive issues were getting worse. Just this whole kind of conglomeration of symptoms that don't really have a diagnosis. And so for me now, I'm the one going from doctor to doctor to doctor to chiropractor to health guru to internet guru. And I couldn't find any answers to my problems. So one night, as lots of us women do, I'm up at 3 a.m., I'm searching through YouTube, and I come across this woman who calls herself a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. That is a mouthful.
Wow.
That is a mouthful. I counted. There are 19 syllables. That's a big word.
Right.
And so what she was doing was using a series of functional lab tests on her clients to help women figure out, why their hormones were in such a disarray. So I remember I woke up Bo and I said, "Hey, can I do this?"
At 3 o'clock in the morning?
I mean, he's a patient man. He is.
Okay.
And so we made that transition. I went back to school and it lit me up, being able to access this data and run this, very systematic suite of functional lab tests to discern, what's going on with hormones and sleep and digestion and energy. And that was the start of something beautiful for me.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about how do you handle that transition from going, okay, I've established my business with this great core of people. I don't want to let them go, but I got to grow.
Yes.
But before we get into that in the next segment, you also have another side of your business that is absolutely fascinating.
So most of the time I work with clients in a one-to-one capacity. So that is a time investment, it's a financial investment, it's a physical investment for those people. So my services are priced accordingly. It is an investment. But I found that, in working with women in a larger scale, if I can do group coaching sessions where I can lower my prices and make them more accessible to people and really shrink down the time that I'm spending with my group. So instead of 6 months and working together, going through all these lab tests, we're just focusing for a month on diet and rest and exercise and stress management. And then I'm able, like I said, to bring down my price point, serve more women in a concentrated point in time. And that's just been really exciting too. We almost have a tribe of people who are, waiting every single quarter for a new reset.
If visionaries want to learn more about this, how do they do that?
So my website is jenniferwoodwardnutrition.com.
Okay.
I'm also on Facebook, Jennifer Woodward Nutritionist. And then on Instagram, because I got hacked last year, I'm Jennifer_Woodward_wellness. Just meta verified today, so very exciting.
Got that check mark to go.
Yes. Business owners know, right?
Exactly. And if you enjoy a small business celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify. And when we come back, how do you talk to those wonderful clients, those patient clients, those clients that helped you get your business started, but you gotta grow. When we come, right back. The winter season is rapidly approaching, but are the tires on your car or truck ready for wet weather? Bakersfield's best tire store, Cleroux Tire, has been serving families like yours for 80 years and installs and services the tires your family depends on when the wet weather comes. Give Cleroux Tire a call at 661-324-6069 and ask them about what tire works best for you and your budget. Call Cleroux Tire at 661-324-6069 or visit them at 530 East 21st Street in Bakersfield or at ClerouxTire.com today. The wet winter weather is rapidly approaching. Call Cleroux Tire at 661-324-6069 today. I'm here with Jennifer Woodward, the owner of Jennifer Woodward Nutrition, and our visionary question comes from Corey, who asks, when we got started in our business 3 years ago, we offered a lot of different products and services to our clients. Now that we've grown, how do you tell many of those clients you're letting them go when they're the ones who took the chance on you when nobody else would?
Oh, here is the perfect opportunity to turn a negative into a positive. And this is why I'm so passionate about networking with other business owners. So if you have gotten to the point in your business where you feel like you're not able to serve the clientele that you used to serve, you can go laterally and say, this is my colleague that I'd like to introduce you to. This person's absolutely going to be able to help you with your business needs at this point.
The challenge, though, is you have known these people. you know their significant others. You may know their kids. They're the ones who you said, I've got this great idea for this business. Would you like to help me? And they're like, Jennifer, you're a loon. You're crazy. This is not going to work, but I'll support you anyway. That's the hardest one.
Oh, that is definitely hard. And I think this is the point that every business owner gets to. Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
Right.
And the definition of a business is an entity that creates income. You do have to continue to make money. So
Right.
in my particular profession, it's important for me to be able to graduate my clients. I want my clients to one day not have to need me anymore. They want to be feeling so good. I'm an afterthought in their mind, right?
You tell them this ahead of time.
I
This is the
absolutely
goal.
do. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I want you to not need me in
Right.
6 months. And so if it's a success for me, if I'm able to, transition my clients out. But in a traditional business, I can see how that would be difficult. And my recommendation would be, number one, take them to a really nice lunch.
Okay.
Spend a
Right.
lot of money on a really nice lunch and
Right.
let them down gently, just like you would any other relationship in life. And then, be encouraged that your business is growing to this point where you're able to, seek out a different subset of clients.
This isn't the first thing you've sold. Jennifer and I talked a little bit about this before we hit record, and I just for a moment here, paint us the picture, Jennifer, of the first thing you sold.
This is my entrepreneurial bone right here, right?
Right.
I was just born an entrepreneur. So my great-great-grandmother actually emigrated from Poland and opened up a bakery in Chicago as a single mother. So my grandmother actually grew up in a little bakery in Chicago and has passed that down, to myself and my sisters. So when my sisters, Jessie and Jackie and I were very young, we realized, hey, if we wanted to buy our own gum or candy, we needed to create our own income.
Right.
So what we did was we got our little red flyer wagon and we asked my dad to drive us up to Tehachapi, and we picked some mistletoe from trees up there. I'm not sure if that was legal or not, so I'm sorry to whoever's tree, we were cutting that mistletoe from. But we would package that mistletoe up in little Ziploc bags. We'd put some Christmas ribbon on it, chuck it into our wagon, and we go door to door in our neighborhood selling that mistletoe for 50 cents. And God bless every neighbor who bought my mistletoe for 50 cents back when I was 8 years old.
Are you going to do that to your children?
I'd like to do it to my children. I think it's a great life lesson.
But something tells me you're going to have to do better than 50 cents.
During that inflation.
You started off your entrepreneurial life by selling mistletoe, and then you went into pharmaceutical sales, and then you started your own business because of your son. But there was a shift. Something happened that turned the business from a hobby, for lack of better terms, into a proper business. What happened? What was that breakthrough?
Right. Well, what I find with most business owners is we tend to lack confidence. We all suffer from imposter syndrome. It's just the nature of being an entrepreneur. So I didn't realize it at the time, but what I was lacking and what I was seeking was confidence to actually build and grow a business. And so providentially, I was contacted by a member of Shannon LaBar's team here in town at Purveyor House who said, hey, we're doing this 3-day branding workshop.
Sure.
And we want to give you a discounted ticket.
Wow.
And I thought, I can't even afford that discounted ticket.
Right.
My business is not making money, but I thought, let's do this anyways. Let's just see what happens. So I sat in on that 3-day Brandwell workshop, and it changed my life. I made fantastic relationships with other women business owners in Bakersfield that I carry on to this day. And I got an idea of what I needed to do as a business owner, what I needed to do to create, a business from my hobby. In 3 days, it really helped me galvanize what I, needed to do to get online and put together a business structure and all the fun things that women business owners get to do, like figure out my aesthetic and take some photos. It was just a great time. And I came out of that workshop realizing I actually have a business now, not just a side hustle.
How did this legitimize your business in your mind?
So having that structure and having a framework to work off of, again, just gave me the confidence to realize what I'm offering to clients now is not just a guess. It's not just well, let's try this. It was, a structure from A to Z. This is how we're going to work through your sessions. This is what it's going to look like to, run the labs and sit together.
What was it like before? And then how did it change?
So before, it was me and you talking together and me asking you, what did you eat for dinner last night? How does your stomach feel today? And those are very subjective things that you can give back to me, right? So I really do tend to guess if I'm just talking with you and we're dialoguing, we're chatting. But after going through Brandwell and realizing, what I was taught on were these functional labs. They're expensive and they're kind of intimidating.
Okay.
But I need to.
What is the labs? Explain to us what that is.
Yes, yeah, that's probably a good place to start. So, running a urine test to look for a comprehensive hormone panel. That's called the Dutch test. So it's called the dried urine test for comprehensive hormones, where we're looking, for women and men at their estrogen levels and progesterone levels and testosterone and cortisol. And those are big words, but essentially what those levels are looking at are the reasons why you're not sleeping, the reasons why your energy's low, the reasons you can't lose weight.
Right.
And so really Brandwell and those 3 days gave me the confidence to charge what my business was worth and bring in the data that I knew people needed to have access to relate to change their health.
When we come back in the next segment, we're going to talk about the trap that a lot of business owners fall into, which is I'm going to tell my clients how to do something. And yet, when I go home, I do something completely the opposite. And we'll talk more about that when we come right back. About 6 months ago, I was at a business mixer with other business owners, and I had this one conversation with this one business owner when I realized that the questions he was asking have largely been answered here on Small Business Celebration. So I pulled out my phone and I introduced him to the Small Business Celebration YouTube channel and also let him know that we get questions from visionaries just like you that get answered here on Small Business Celebration. Well, this particular business owner was very surprised, subscribed, and started watching the channel and all the different episodes that we have. And guess what? His question has appeared on this week's Small Business Celebration. So if you've got a question, you've got thoughts, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And who knows, your question could be answered here on Small Business Celebration. So reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram today. I'm here with Jennifer Woodward, the owner of Jennifer Woodward Nutrition, and our visionary question comes from Colin, who asked, I'm finding that sometimes I'm telling my clients one thing, but in real life I'm doing something different. I've realized I'm doing this unconsciously, but now I don't look like an idiot and admit it publicly. What do I do about this?
How true is this for a nutrition professional, Michael? Oh my goodness.
Eat your vegetables, hand me the Doritos.
Well, it's also, I work with a lot of clients locally, and so I've been out at restaurants before, and I'll have somebody come over to my table and say, "Oh, you ordered dessert?" And I'll think, "Well, yes, it's part of a balanced diet, right?"
Sure. It's the 5th food group.
That's right. But here's the thing.
Right.
What I tell my clients, what I practice with my clients, I've already put into practice myself. I am very, very adamant about being authentic. And if you look at my social media, you'll see that. I never claim to be perfect. I definitely work on balance with my clients in their life, in their diet, in their hormones. And that's what I'm working on in my own life. So honestly, I feel like that doesn't as much stress me out as it used to, because now I'll just give that client a big hug and say, "Hey, you want a bite?"
Sure, right.
But I also am passionate about making sure that the foundation, the structural foundations of what I tell my clients to do are things I practice in my own life. Work on managing stress, push into my family, push into my rest time, getting my exercise, as our whole family is working out right before you got here today, right?
Sure.
We do the things, we practice the things that we preach, but are we going to be perfect? Not at all. But I think that as a business owner, it almost makes you more relatable, for other business owners and then your clients.
There's the old saying that all work and no play makes for a dull boy. What are you reading right now?
Oh, I love to read. So for work, I'm reading a book on menopause, which is just fantastic. And I just finished a book that I would highly recommend called The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss.
Okay, The Name of the Wind by
Patrick Rothfuss.
Okay, why this book?
I judged a book by its cover.
Whoops!
This cover's pretty. I'm going to try this one. Lo and behold, it lived up to, its promise, and it was a fantastic book.
What's it about?
It is the story of a young man who calls himself an arcanist. So this is a little bit of fantasy, which is a fun escape from hormones, right?
Sure,
digestion.
right.
And it's the chronicle of his young life and how he kind of became the master, basically magician that he is, and the hardships and struggles he had to go through, and what morphed him into this amazing, practitioner that he is. It's a fantastic fantasy journey.
A nice piece of escape.
It is.
What makes you wake up every morning and open your business?
Aside from my family, and truly, I know that's trite, but it's very true. Like, my
Right.
family just excites me, and I love being their mom. I love being a wife.
Sure.
In my business, it is that opportunity to help women create healthy change, honestly, to move from, like we've said, a state of dysfunction where they just feel crappy. You know,
Right.
they don't have the energy or the excitement that I do, you know,
Right.
to get out of bed in the morning and serve their families and show up at work and show up in their own businesses.
Right.
Just like anything, there really are seasons. I think, you know, it takes you 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 years in your business to realize, oh gosh, there are going to be ebbs and flows.
Right.
That not every setback has to be a major discouragement. It's just part of owning a business. And,
Right.
you know, my husband during the first years was really helpful in me being able to internalize that. Hey, you got to save money, you know, during these times that maybe your business is a little bit slower to get you through those quarters. But hey, look, every January and every March and every October, that's when your clients are coming in, right? So being able to take a step back and realize that it is absolutely normal to have those ebbs and flows in businesses.
Right.
I do have a specific subset of clients that will come to me for fertility issues. And when you work with someone like me, you've generally gone the regular route. You've seen your, you know, OBGYN. A lot of my clients have gone through multiple rounds of IVF or in vitro fertilization that has sadly failed them. So they've spent, you know, tens of thousands of dollars just trying to really get the birthright, you know, what's
Right.
owed them as a birthright, like a baby, right? It's just something that women naturally, of course, are going to want to do at some point in their life, most women. And so to have that heartbreak show up month after month is just overwhelming for them. So I take on fertility clients like with kid gloves, you know, very
Right.
gently, knowing that, you know, they've already failed multiple times at their attempts to get pregnant. And so I always tell them, you know, this isn't a guarantee. We can work at kind of reestablishing function in your body, looking for dysfunction and then systematically addressing it. But there really are no guarantees in the fertility world. But, you know, it is really cool that when you are working to reestablish health and wellness in your body and finding these hidden stressors and removing them and starting to feel better, your body does what it's supposed to do, which is procreate. And so, you know, it's not magic. It's just what happens naturally when you treat your body well. So there were a total of 8 fertility cases that I've had over the course of the last 8 years. And actually 6 of those women have had healthy, natural pregnancies,
Congratulations.
healthy babies. Praise God for that. Yes, I am so grateful. But then there's also the 2 that didn't get pregnant.
Right.
And I am thankful for the 6 that did, but those aren't the women that keep me up at night. The women that keep me up at night are the ones that no matter what we do, you know, and how much time we're taking, they still aren't getting that blessing of a baby. And so, you know, my heart, even now talking about it, my heart just, you know, starts to break a little bit for those women. But just this week on Monday, I'm sitting at the Fit Pantry drive-through with my son and I get a text that says, Jennifer. And I look down and then the second part of the text comes through and it says, I'm pregnant.
Nice.
And you could have blown me over with a feather. I just thought, you know, my body just felt the relief of getting this text, thinking, man, this girl has been working for years on trying to get pregnant, a year with me. You know, it takes time for these things to happen, but getting a text like that, getting, you know, a testimonial like that, that is what drives me. That is what gets me out of bed in the morning. And that is, you know, what gets me through the hard times in my business, knowing that, man, that next encouragement is right on the horizon.
Jennifer, this has been a real privilege. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having me on Small Business Celebration. It has been wonderful.
And if visionaries want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So my website is jenniferwoodwardnutrition.com. I am on Facebook, Jennifer Woodward Nutritionist. And then because I got hacked last year on Instagram,
Right.
I'm now Jennifer_Woodward_wellness.
Well, again, this has been a real treat. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
And I'll be right back with my final thought. The winter season is rapidly approaching, but are the tires on your car or truck ready for wet weather? Bakersfield's best tire store, Claru Tire, has been serving families like yours for 80 years and installs and services the tires your family depends on when the wet weather comes. Give Claru Tire a call at 661-324-6069 and ask them about what tire works best for you and your budget. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 or visit them at 530 East 21st Street in Bakersfield or at clarutire.com today. The wet winter weather is rapidly approaching. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 today. It's kind of cool, isn't it? A couple weeks ago, I had lunch with a visionary friend of mine, and I always enjoy these lunches because when we get together, not only do we talk about the things that aren't working well in our business, we also talk about the things that are. And even though our businesses are very different from each other, there's also a lot of commonalities. And one of the things that came up is that we both knew that we wanted to get from point A to point B, but we really weren't sure how we were going to get there. So we gave the task to one of our employees to figure out, and not only did the employees figure out how to get from point A to point B, but they also knocked it out of the park, and they're implementing the plan very, very well. To which my visionary friend said, "It's kind of cool, isn't it?" After our lunch got over, I was walking back to my car and I was reflecting about how often as we as business owners focus so much on the employee that is doing just barely enough to not get fired. Or the employee that knows the gray areas of the law very well, then uses it to their advantage, whether it's good for the business or not. When in fact we should be spending more time praising and celebrating the employee that takes the initiative, takes the ball and runs and makes a touchdown and keeps playing and keeps doing very, very well. Well, visionaries, if you've got an employee that has done well, leave a comment in the comment section below or reach out to us on social media and let us know, how do you celebrate the success of one of your employees and what they do? After all, it's kind of cool, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week with Jennifer Woodward, the owner of Jennifer Woodward Nutrition, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business, and we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. By the way, what did the nutrition stores say when they ran out of protein powder?
Oh, I have no idea.
No way!
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like
okay. What happens when the nutritionist knocks on your door?
Did you research this just for today?
Just for you.
Okay.
Just for you.
I don't know.
You vitamin.
That's a good one too. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to remember that.
You know, it's okay. You can perfectly steal them, just like I have.
I probably will.
And bore your children. It's quite okay. Show off these dad jokes to your husband.
Oh man,
Let
he
him know
loves
who's
a good
boss.
dad joke. Yes, that's great.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.